Hello everybody, my name is Nikita and today I will be going through E for English's Class 1, Level 1, Worksheet 2, which focuses on alphabetical order. So what exactly is alphabetical order? When someone is putting words in alphabetical order, that person is arranging them with the words starting with A at the beginning and the words starting with Z at the end. So I know that's a little hard to understand, so let's look at an example. So if we have the words yo-yo, car, and sock, we see that those words are right now in a random order, but we want to put them in alphabetical order. So how would we go about doing that? Our first step is to look at the first letter of each of those words. So over here, we have yo-yo, car, and sock, and we're going to look at the first letter of each of those words. So we have Y, we have C, and we have S. And if we look below where our alphabet is written out for us, we can go ahead and highlight those or circle those in your case. So we have Y, C, and S. And now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the order of those of those letters as they appear in the alphabet. So we can see that C comes first over here, and then S, and finally Y. So because of that, we have car first because it starts with C. We have sock because it starts with S. And last, we have yo-yo because it starts with a Y. And so that's how we're going to be going ahead and putting words in alphabetical order. Okay, let's go to exercise 1. So our instructions are to underline the word that will come first in alphabetical order. And we're going to look at our example first. So our example has the two words bottle and toys. So what was our first step in the other example? Good, we looked at the first letter of each of those words. So we have B in this case, and we have T over here. Okay, and if we go back up here to our reference section, I'm going to go ahead and highlight those in yellow this time. So we have B over here, and where's T? There it is. So that's what we're going to highlight in yellow as well. Now it's time to decide which of those comes first in the alphabet. So does B come before T, or does T come before B? That's right, B comes before T. And that's why we're going to underline bottle, because bottle starts with B, which comes before T. And that's the answer to our example. Now let's try number 1. So our two words in this case are reindeer and store. So what's our first step? Good, to look at the first letter of each of those words. So I'm going to go ahead and bold them. So now we're looking at R and we're looking at S. So I'm going to do those in green this time. So we have R and we have S. So we're looking at these two letters right here. And even though they're really close apart, one of them is still before the other. So which letter comes before the other one? Does R come before S, or does S come before R in the alphabet? That's right, R comes before S. And so we're going to underline reindeer because reindeer has the R in it and starts with the R, and store starts with S, which comes after R. All right, let's try number 2. So what was our first step? Good. We're going to look at the first letter. So we have I and we have G. Now when we go back to our reference section, I want you to find those letters. Where are they? Good. I, so I'll do that in red. We have I over here. We have G over here. Now it's your turn to decide which letter comes before. Does G come before I, or does I come before G? Good, G comes before I. So now that we know that G comes before I, which letter are we going to underline? Ice or green? Good, we're going to underline green. And why is that? Good, because G comes before I. All right, I want you to try number 3 on your own. I'll go ahead and look at the first letter with you, but then I want you to try using the reference section by yourself, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the answer. So our first letter is B for bowl and F for finger. And now I want you to try using the reference section by yourself. All right, so which word did you choose, bowl or finger? Good, you should have chosen bowl because as you can see here, B comes before F. Good job. All right, so now I think you've gotten the hang of how to do exercise 1. So basically for all of these other problems here, up to number 10, you're going to be underlining the word that will come first in alphabetical order. But let's go over the bonus because that's a little harder. So we have the words phone and paint here. Now, what's our first step? Good, looking at the first letter. So we have P for phone, but wait, we also have P for paint. So how do we do this one? How do you think we're going to solve this problem? Good. If you said that we look at the second letter, you are absolutely correct. So now we've seen that our first letters are the same, but that's okay because we can look at the second letter, and I'm going to highlight the second letter in green. So now we're looking at H and we're looking at A. Now, if you go back up to our reference section, let's find those letters, and I'll do this in yellow. So we have A, and we also have H. Now, which one comes before which? Does A come before H, or does H come before A? That's right, A comes before H. And so, if we go back down, we're going to underline paint because paint, second letter is A, whereas phone, second letter is H, and A comes before H. So paint is our answer. Okay, let's try exercise number 2. This one is the same concept, but we're going to be numbering the words in alphabetical order, and this time there will be 3 words. So if we look at our example, we have the words dog, flower, and boat. So we have to look at the first letter of each of these words. So we see that dog starts with D, flower starts with F, and boat starts with B. And when we go up to our reference section, I have already highlighted these words, or these letters. So we have B over here, we have D over here, and we have F over here. So we see that B comes first. So let's label the word that starts with B as number 1. So that's why there's a 1 next to boat. Now let's go back up to see which one comes second. So we have D, which comes next, because D is between B and F. So that's why we're going to label the next word that starts with D with a number 2. And finally, flower, which starts with F, becomes number 3 because it's the only one left, and also because F is last out of those 3 letters, B, D, and F. So now let's try one example that doesn't have the answers for us. So let's look at sweater, book, and orange. So the 3 first letters that we have are S, B, and O. And I'm going to go ahead to our reference section and highlight those in yellow. So we have S, we have B, and we have O. So which one of those comes first, second, and third? S, B, or O? So B is our first one, so let's go ahead and label the word that starts with B as number 1. So that would be book, because book starts with B. Now let's go back and find the second one. So we have O, which comes after B, but before S, so that makes it the second one. So let's go back and label the word that starts with O as number 2. So that's over here, and that's orange. And then our last letter is S, so the last word has to be number 3. So sweater is number 3. And that is how you will do the problems in exercise 1. And so I think you can do all the rest of those by yourself if you use the technique that I just showed you. And finally, let's try an example from exercise 3. So in this problem set, you're also going to be numbering the words in alphabetical order. But this time there's a few more words. But don't get scared. It's the same concept and I know you can do it. So let's look at number 2 together. So our first letter of each word is going to be bolded. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have birthday, which starts with B, gift, which starts with C, which starts with G, cake, which starts with C, party, which starts with P, fun, which starts with F. All right, So I've gone back to the reference section and highlighted all of those letters in red. So we have B, C, F, G, and P. Now we have to decide which word comes first. So obviously B is the one that comes first out of all 5 of these letters. So let's go back to the word that starts with B and number that with number 1. So what word is that? That's birthday, which is right here. So let's give that a number 1. And now let's go back to our reference section. What letter comes next? C. So that's going to be number 2. So let's find C. The word that starts with C would be cake. So that's going to be this one, and that's going to be number 2. And now if you go back up to our reference section, what's the next letter you see? That's right, it's F. And what letter is after F? G. So we know that the word that starts with F is going to be number 3, and the word that starts with G is going to be number 4. So let's go back to our problem and number them accordingly. So we have 3 for fun because it starts with F. Then we have 4 for gift because it starts with G and G comes after F. And finally, we're going to go back to our reference section, and P is the only one left. So it's going to be number 5 because it's the last one. So let's go back to our problem. And because it's the only one left, we know that it's number 5. And that is how you would do the problems in exercise 3. So I know you can do the rest of those. So this is going to be the end of this video. I hope that you found it helpful, and be sure to check out the rest of the videos on this channel for more help. See you next time. Thank you. Bye.